Kingdom Hall.
Hi. I just have a question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
Oh, yeah, what are you needing to know?
Do you have a minute?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. It just depends on how long of a minute. We're actually about we're just about to leave, but I got a minute.
Okay.
Or at least point you in the right direction.
Oh, cool. Well, I was reading the website because a lot of witnesses like to point you to the website now. So I was looking at this one book it's on the website, it's called Revelation, the Grand Climax at Hand, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever hear of it?
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
oh, okay. Well, it was kind of blowing my mind. I mean, I like reading different commentaries on Revelation, but it was talking about the 7 trumpet blasts of Revelation and that they're fulfilled in 7 Watchtower conventions.
Yes. Yeah, uh-huh.
Why are you laughing? I mean,
Oh, no,
I kind of did, but I'm not a witness.
Question. No, I wasn't laughing at that. I was waiting for
really?
I thought you had a question, so I was waiting.
Oh, okay.
That.
So you take that serious? Do you all have to agree with that?
As far as let me ask you this: is that your question? As far as just
that's my question. I'm like, I almost fell off my chair when I saw that. You're not, I learned, that we should exegete the Bible, meaning like to draw out what it is saying, not to read something in. And it seems like the organization is throughout this book, even the 2 witnesses and all these different things. I mean, it's like about the Watchtower is just really intriguing. I just wanted to see if is that something everybody agrees with, or are you guys allowed to have different views on Revelation? I mean, most Christians have different views on it. It's very difficult.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're asking. Okay. So, to give you a short answer to that question, because Revelation is it's a very prophetic book, right? So there's a lot of things in Revelation where, well, actually, you know what? Before I say that, let me ask you this: what do you feel like the trumpet blasts are?
Oh, I'm open to different views. I take more of the fulfilled view of it. This is a view that has been held over history. Some even feel it was actually written before 70 AD, and it's just kind of a mystical restatement of the Olivet Discourse in Signs and Symbols. It says several times right in the beginning that this is happening like soon. This is at hand. So that's just but I'm open to different views because I wouldn't be dogmatic about it at all. But so I was just wondering if you personally had that view about the conventions.
I do agree with that.
The conventions?
Yes, but the reason the reason is throughout now you can imagine answering a phone call or someone's asking about the 7 trumpet blasts. This is a thing where I'm like, okay, I'm trying to in my mind go through the.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter about the specifics of them. I know you can't remember that detail, but just the idea of that being fulfilled by Watchtower conventions.
Why I personally believe that.
Oh, okay.
Is a lot of things, for instance, like with the 2 witnesses, things like that, or in Revelation where it talks about, the woman giving birth and then the child being hid for a time, and those kinds of things, and the dragon trying to attack the woman and spitting out water, and then the earth forming a crack. All those kinds of things. It's very, very descriptive details. But I believe a lot of those details are connecting to worship, right, and the place of true worship, and true worship would be based on truth, right? That's And so these events that are connected to these important points of attempts or efforts to make known truth in this large way. And that's why, to me, those conventions connect to that, Trumpet Blast, because they were big moments as far as Bible truths being declared in a very public way.
Well, I guess your whole line of reasoning there, have you ever heard of begging the question? Like, you're assuming the Watchtower organization is the truth, which I know is what they say.
Sure. Now,
but in talking to someone else, in talking to someone else, I would say the same thing, that traditional Christianity is the truth, and that's not really getting us anywhere, because it's a fallacy called begging the question. You're just assuming that, and now you're reading that all into Revelation.
No, I
so I'm not following there has no weight, to anyone outside of your organization.
I totally understand what you're saying. And so here is the point is, so what you're saying is exactly right. That only makes sense if I have already accepted that those things are true. So the question is, why do I accept that those things are true? And that question doesn't come into discussion of the Trumpet Blasts in Revelation. That's a question of actual biblical knowledge. That's as far as why have I, in my personal study, why have I come to trust what Jehovah's Witnesses teach? Well,
you're required to trust
the Trumpet Blast. It's not just about that. It's a bigger question, right? As far as who do you trust as a source?
Right.
And do you find that what you are going to for a source is teaching truth in the Bible or not?
Well, when you consider, since we're talking about Revelation and commentaries on Revelation, this here is the fifth one in their history, and they're all significantly different. So I guess it depends on what you mean by truth, and if truth can be changed, because they called it the truth with all these 5 different commentaries on Revelation. I have another question about it. Just one more quick question that really shocked me in here. It says that some witnesses who are dead, may be involved in communicating divine truth today. So I was under the impression that is not a Christian practice.
Oh, yeah, you're correct.
Uh-huh.
So really, it's a question of let me think how to say this. Well, I guess let me put it this way. I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but like any subject, it's kind of like jumping into the middle of, or the middle of a subject, when sometimes in order for that to be more clear, you got to start more at the beginning. So this is a discussion. You're asking great questions. I think these are things worth investigating. And you don't want to take anyone's word for it.
Oh, exactly. And they're so extreme on other people about pagan origins or occultic practices, and that's blatant spiritism. We're not.
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but I think you're misunderstanding it. But that's a different subject.
No, it's the same. It's the same subject. I'm reading it on page 125. Well, maybe you can look at it later in its context.
No, what I'm saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying it's it's its own subject as far as like that specific thing. Well, that's something to talk about. But as far as
in 1917, they were teaching that Russell was still running the organization after he died. So, that's overt spiritism. Like, how could he be running the organization? And you guys write all this stuff about, like, praying to saints, that are dead and all that kind of stuff. So, it's just amazing, Yeah,
so let me ask you a question. Are you interested in learning more?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I love learning all the time.
Yeah, because if you want to, and no obligation, because these are things that and again, I'm about to have to leave in about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But so these are things, and I appreciate you calling and asking. These are things over a short phone call, though. It's hard to get satisfying answers.
Really?
In that kind of a context. Well,
were you familiar with that about communicating divine truths from dead people? Are you familiar with they taught that?
Yes, yeah, but
oh,
I think
okay.
the again, it's a subject. I think the angle you're looking at it from, I don't think that we're on the same page, if that makes sense. You and I are the direction you're seeing it from is not the same direction I'm seeing it from. But to get on the same page, it's not something in 30 seconds that you and I.
Well, I guess I can. I guess I have a fairly good reading level, and this is just what I read on page 125. And when you analyze like praying to the saints or talk about the occult, you don't seem to make an out like this. So I'm not sure where it's so blatant. I don't get your other angle, but anyways, that's okay.
The question is, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just for instance, that specifically, it's a question of when this is why I'm saying it's another issue, not another issue, but it's just a deeper question as far as looking at the scriptures as to because a lot in that. Well, no, never mind. That was about to be not make any sense. I was about to say, it's a question of, for instance, in that issue, whether or not some Christians who had died would have a role in that way. And I believe it said could have a role. I don't think it was dogmatic and said do have a role.
Yeah, they may be, but they did teach that Russell was running the organization after he died. Did you ever read that book?
Yeah,
the finish
in the past, yeah, but there's
when he was dead.
Throughout the years, there's been times where, just for instance, we used to celebrate Christmas at our headquarters. There's a lot of changes we've made over the years. But just like I said, trying to get more in line with the more a person, even as individuals, the same should be true of organizations. The more we learn about Bible truth,
actually,
change, right?
That's kind of a false analogy because as an individual, I don't claim to be God's channel on earth, providing meat in due season from Jehovah. So, some of their Olite was actually very detrimental to people, very hurtful.
Can you think of scriptural examples where people, servants of Jehovah, had to refine their understandings and refine their teachings?
You're rephrasing the question to be something else. They may have done that, but they did not publish worldwide in print and by spoken word false predictions, false rules that caused people to die and now are okay with Jehovah. They didn't claim to be God's only channel. So you're slyly rephrasing the question, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
A lack of understanding, not fully knowing something.
I didn't mean to indicate in that way.
But do you understand what I'm saying? You're following what you just made a false analogy, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Respectfully, I'm going to disagree with that. But let me ask you a question. Are you honestly wanting to learn more, or are you trying to find fault?
Oh,
which is your right to do either way.
Oh, wow.
I'm just on
That's interesting that you would ask that, because there was this. Somebody showed it to me. I'm in some discussion groups where we talk about religion and the Bible. It says that here in the Awake magazine, some people insult those who disagree with them by questioning character or motives instead of focusing on the facts. And that's saying this is just a propaganda technique, of diversion. That's in the Awake magazine in June 22nd, 2000. So I just wanted to share that with you since you just questioned my motives. You seem nice otherwise, though. I know it's kind of part of the training, because I heard that so many times, like, do you really want to know, So that's just kind of, it's a passive aggressive kind of question to just, because you don't care for this line of questioning that I'm giving, so you're just diverted. Yeah? What? Have I talked to witnesses before?
Yeah.
Of course. They come to my house, they stand on my street corner. What? Yeah, they're publicly, yeah, sure. I would like to examine all things like the Bible says. But hey, well, hopefully you can look into those things. It's really interesting in the Revelation book. I just thought I'd ask. And I really like talking to you. You seem like a great guy. You seem like, really smart and fun. So thanks for being nice to me.
Well, hey, I appreciate you asking questions. That's the best way to find out information.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you agree with the Bible principle in Acts 17:11, which is you search the scriptures daily to find out if these things you're being taught are the truth.
That's really interesting that you say that, because there's quotes in the Watchtower that they discourage independent Bible study and groups that were meeting for independent Bible study. And they suggest that if you read the Bible on your own, you'll fall out of the light, the truth. So I don't know how you guys could apply that, because they say that you need to be in touch with the channel to get the true understanding.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like in Acts chapter 17.
So how would you test them then, like the Bereans did? How would you do that?
Well, if you remember,
kind of a catch-22.
Whenever they did that, it said whenever they saw those things were true, they put faith in them. So then they didn't continue on their own as their own personal little group of Bereans, but then they followed and became disciples.
Yeah.
So they became a part of the organization at that time when they recognized that what was being taught by Paul and Silas were true based on the scriptures.
Yeah, but they say you ipso facto can't test them. They say you can't test them because if you read the Bible on your own, you'd revert back to Christendom teachings. They made a quote like that. So, it's a catch-22. They're saying you must accept them first before you can understand anything in the Bible. That's why witnesses are so condescending to other Christians.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
No, not you. You are a little bit, but no, not like some of them, But I mean, you engage in conversation. Which is really cool.
Well, I'm sure you agree, though, that we each have a personal responsibility to worship God in the way He approves. So, I mean, each of us are trying their best to do that, and it's based on truth from the Scriptures. So.
Did you grow up in the organization?
So, are you? Well, let me ask you this: are you in a position? Because you said that witnesses visit you and everything.
Oh, well, they used to. They don't seem to do door to door as much in our neighborhood. They have the carts.
Okay. Well, because if you're on the website, there's a way you can request a visit if you'd like to know more information.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do have to go. But
hey, a great site that I like is called answerjw.com. If you're allowed to, I know all witnesses say they can choose, but, they don't choose not to, and that's okay. But just thought I'd throw it out there. I'm looking at your website.
What's your name?
Christine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Christine. Well, have a great day.
God bless you.